Everybody, let's just put that there. There we go. So tonight we have this fine Caversham Premium Cream Sherry, which I have already poured a glass. Just get this ready so that I know that the stream is coming through. Just use my other account. Doesn't always come through immediately. Just give it a second. Just get your questions ready whilst I wait for this to load. Good evening, Mr. Saxby. Don't know why I can't see my own streamers live at the moment. Good evening, Davey from Scottish Car Enthusiasts Television. How are you, sir? Good evening, Mr. G. Why it won't show me my own live stream live, I don't. It's annoying. How very strange. It won't even show me my own live stream is actually live. That's very silly. Yes. Let's see if the descriptions have done anything here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's working. Okay. Right. I will now open up the chat box. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's working. And also mute myself because you can hear me in the background. So I'll just. I think I just muted myself. And also mute myself because you can hear me in the background. So I'll just. Right. Finally, I haven't got myself talking in the background. That's a very strange meta thing to do. Pop out chat. There we go. That's what I wanted. Right. Excellent. That's a lot better. Okay. So I can actually see what we're doing in terms of chat. If you don't do this, it's impossible. S. Thomason, how has my week been? It's been okay, thank you, sir. Looking forward to actually reviewing cars again next week. Davey from Scottish Car Enthusiast TV knackered today. Been out hill walking. Yeah, there are not too many hills like there are in Scotland here. Mr. Manning from Matty's Cars, right on time. Yes, we do like to be on time, sir. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Jonathan Bramble. What am I drinking today, Mr. G? We have Caversham's fine pale cream sherry, of which I've already poured myself a glass. My lady wife very much enjoyed it as well. Oh, that's nice. Mr. Sean Cook, good evening, sir. Team Ballylove Classics. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm very bad at pronunciation of certain things. Good evening, sir. Good evening to Mr. Richard Howlett. Adam A. Good evening. I'm sorry you don't approve of my taste of drink, sir. Mr. Saxby, the Vauxhall Carlton video was excellent. Mr. Matty Manning from Matty's Cars. Yes, it was. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Depeche Mode, going on unusual 3-mile hike tomorrow. Well, enjoy yourself, sir. It's well in the government guidelines, of course. Light Diode Neil enjoys it. John Edwards, no random supermarket lager tonight. We've kind of gone through most of the random supermarket lagers now, I'm afraid. So we have to, go on to other things. Normally it's beer, but we've run out of different types of beer to have, so I'm afraid we have to, improvise. Ballyloch, is that how you say it? Okay. Mr. G, I haven't given up on a cheap lager. I've just sort of given up on showing it on the live stream because we have had to have different types of alcohol on the live stream. Otherwise, I can't differentiate any of the thumbnails. So that's just what happened. So we've got different alcohol tonight. Matty's Cars appreciates Mr. Saxby's opinion of the Vauxhall Carlton video. Well, that's very good. Ballyloch is very, very Northern Irish. Yes, I believe it is in Ireland somewhere. Depeche Mode. We're not officially out of lockdown on Monday, so it's just I'll be reviewing cars again from Monday, and I've already organised 2, and I've got more coming. John Edwards. Random supermarket cider. Yes, we have had a few bits of random supermarket cider. We might have some more random supermarket cider on the next live stream. I don't know. But for the time being, I'm enjoying this lovely sherry. That's nice. Yes, County Armagh. Very good. Uncle Vernon, Ali Steinhauser beer. Yes, I used to drink Steinhauser when I was a student, and it's still very nice. Mr. Adame, looking forward for 2 new cars. Well, you're not the only one, sir. I have not reviewed a car. I think the last filming we did was, Mr. Bill from Wiles Wheels would correct me. I think it was the 18th of December, last review we filmed. It's a long time ago now. S. Thompson, County Down. Okay. Not been to Northern Ireland myself. I really should go there one day. That should be looks like a lovely place to visit, actually. Sean Cook, cream sherry, yes, Croft original. Depeche Mode. Children are back at school to get my personal garden. I don't think you have my personal garden. I think what you can do is meet up with one other person, and then you don't have to have a reason anymore. Like, you don't have to, be going for a walk with them. You could just meet up with them for any reason you want, like having a picnic, or you can, just generally just meet up with them like a social leisure purpose. And that is the kind of grounds I filmed during the second lockdown. And so that's why I'm going to be filming again, because we're not limited to just doing stuff, meeting up with one more person outdoors for exercise. I think the meeting people in the garden comes on the 20th of March or something. Yeah. Team Ballylough Classics, another Northern Irish fan. Very good, yes indeed. Mrs. Saxby, yes, I actually saw one on the very first day that they came out. I think it was a Tesla with a Tesla fleet plate on it, 21 plate, A something it was. And I've seen about 3 others. The largest one I saw was a Skoda Kodiaq yesterday. So they are out there. So people are actually buying cars. Sean Cook, had a leafy Armagh from Cold Derry. Yes, it's cold tonight. Jadwood, so have you made any progress? Who wants to be a millionaire challenge? I hope to be able to do that video next week for you, so I haven't forgotten. Be the sort of short form. We want to be a millionaire, because the long form is 15. The short form is 12. So we're going to do the 12. Uncle Vernon, speaker plate, still 70 plate Mondeo. Yeah, they are still making them. They're not going to discontinue them in their current form until probably next year or later this year. Adam A, can I ask you to get a second? What do you think of the Seat Leon FR Mark II DSG? I have driven a Mark II Leon. I'm trying to think if it was an FR. It was a 1.4 with a twin charger engine. It's a manual. The DSGs can be a bit problematic, but if there are some specialists out there who'll look after them for you. And I drove a Skoda Superb with a DSG, and I thought it was okay. But obviously, there are some horror stories out there. But if they work well, they work okay. Depeche Mode. Yeah, you can travel in the countryside for a walk or a picnic. You can, meet up with somebody, in this case, out somewhere, and keep your distance. And if you're going to be filming a car, then you film it on your own. And the person don't get into the car with someone else. All that kind of lovely stuff. Matty's car is more likely to see an old Lada than a Mondeo and a new plate. Yeah, you probably are. There's not a lot of new Mondeos out there now. Scottish Car Enthusiast TV, Davey, looking forward to seeing the next all the cars. To be peculiar old car adverts, yes indeed. There will be another episode of that. I think there'll be another one after that too. We'll be doing that quite soon. Mr. Saxby, Mondeo is turning into an SUV. You're absolutely correct. That is exactly what I think they're going to do with the next generation one that will be released, I think, later this year or early next year. Depeche Mode, does anyone know if you can reheat kebab meat in an air fryer the next day? I don't know, sir. This isn't a cooking channel, sir. Anime, thank you. Well, that's no problem. Um, Matty's cast, Mondeo man will still be Mondeo mum. Could you explain that a bit more, sir? John Edwards, I imagine there's an awful lot of Mondeo sitting in a port and registered or unsold before production retools to the Mackie or Mustang E. Yeah, I think they're made in Valencia, the Mondeos. They were made in um, Belgium and been in Cologne for a while, but I think the ones currently are made in Valencia, which is Depeche Mode. Mr. Jesus Depeche Mode, what do you want food poisoning? Jonathan Bramble, would you ever consider a social group meeting with your fans, bringing cars to your classic car meet when they're back on? Yeah. I've been talking about this absolutely ages. I think the first video I made on this was, I don't know, 2019 or something. We've been trying to kind of, get one of these things together for ages. I do know that although the Bromley pageant's not happening, that was going to be a big thing for me and a couple of other channels who were going to be there as well, but that's been postponed. So we'll have to put something else together. I know of a couple of other things I'm trying to book in for, but yes, we're trying to sort of get these things together. It's just we have to be a little bit cautious still, which is a shame. Andy Armstrong, only 7 likes. Well, we've got 10 now, which is very nice. Thank you very much. Depeche Mode, yes, you better not have too many warnings, sir, because otherwise there might be problems. JDN Rotterdam, are there any more peculiar carvets? Yes. We've already mentioned that. Yes, there's another episode coming out in the next couple of days, and then there'll be probably one more after that, and then we will have to see if I get brought any more by the mysterious benefactor, but I'm thinking probably not after that. John Edwards says to Depeche Mode, microwave kebab may have been pursued in history. No more less likely to make me ill than a fresh kebab. I didn't realise we were going to be kind of talking about food hygiene on the channel tonight. That's a new one. Team Ballylough Classics. When lockdown restrictions allowed, should definitely come to the other side of the Irish Sea. Yes. Well, exactly. I do wish to come. I think there might be a flight to Belfast from Southampton Airport. I don't really know. I can't remember. Anime, the CW Golf advert, the squeaky earring. Yes, I've seen that actually. Uncle Vernon, it's not a cookery program. No, it is not. It is not, sir. It's not a cookery program. Mr. G, I have, sir. I have eaten tonight, and I made it myself. And my lady wife and I actually managed to eat it, which was nice. Yes, it's really funny with Southampton Airport because since stuff kind of started about a year ago, it went all a bit sort of funny. And the other thing is that if I remember what the airline was that went bankrupt, I think it was January, February 2020, even before the coronavirus thing happened. One of the airlines that was about 70% of Southampton Airport traffic went bankrupt. I think it was BMI, but I might be completely wrong. I forget now. No, sorry, Flybe. That's it, Flybe. It was Flybe. John Edwards says, diverse chat. We could open Lloyd Food Consulting. No, we won't do that, sir. We won't do that. Mr. Saxby, have you seen the new Toyota Aygo? You want in person? Yeah, I've seen the pictures of it online. I haven't seen one in person. That's probably going to be one of the last new cars launched in this country with a petrol engine at the rate that everything's going. Richard Howlett, the Kia Concorde road test. Everybody wants to see a Kia Concorde. It's quite difficult to get hold of one of those over here. I think it'd be impossible probably. I would like a 66 of that generation though. That'd be a bit easier, but still they're not particularly common, unfortunately. Yeah, it is a bit unrealistic. The thing is, Mr. Mr. Manny from Matty's Cars, is that trying to get hold of one of those Citroen C4s is going to be nigh on impossible. I don't have a relationship with any Citroen dealers or the Stellantis press office, so trying to get hold of one of those is not going to be very easy. I don't tend to sort of drive too many Citroens anyway, really. I don't tend to drive too many of them. The Saxo that you have was a lot of nostalgic fun. It's a little bit, powered down. You know, they have to have a bit more engine. It's a bit cramped, but it certainly had a big nostalgia value for me. The other ones, I don't really know. Furkan Kavsor, I've thoughts on the new C-Class. I've seen the new C-Class. I think what is it? Carwow have done a video on that. I don't know. I have very mixed opinions about what people consider to be, premium brands when they're really not so much. They're premium in the sense that people perceive them to be, and they're premium in the sense that they cost a lot of money in the list price, and they cost a lot of money to fix them. And then you go to a wanky showroom, but in terms of what you get for your money, apart from like more trouble because they have more stuff on them, I don't really know. My mother's got a 2017 C-Class and reviews about it on the channel, but I don't know if I feel particularly strongly one way or the other about the new C-Class. It's just kind of there. Team Ballylough Classics. Just watch the Goodwood video on best hot hatches of the 90s and 2000. What are your top 5? I don't know. I'm not the sort of person who's really into hot hatches personally. I'm not really into them very much. Not really. It would the sort of question I would be answering would be, what are the best super minis with, luxury versions? Really, that's more my kind of thing. Anime. Well, let's drive a Kia Stinger. Maybe you could try and get hold of one of them and test them. It depends. There's only really two ways that normally I get hold of a car. If I see someone who's got one and I have a relationship with them, for example, Mr. Bill from Woz Wheels, I've already asked him to drive his Renault Megane Classic, and that's fine. The only other couple of ways are, somebody offers me one, or I can get one for a dealership or a press office. And I don't have any relationship with the Kia press office. I don't have a relationship with any Kia dealers really. So I would like to drive a Kia Stinger, but it's just getting hold of one, and that might be a bit difficult. Mr. Man Managed Cars. What do you mean? Okay, first impression of the styling of the Citroen C4, because it's been a bit hit and miss. I don't know. It's one of these things. I don't think I've formed a real opinion on it particularly. I don't tend to focus too much on the sort of cars that I'm not really interested in particularly myself. So I don't know really. Sing S. I'm sick of the government trying to get people out of cars onto bicycles and public transport. A road near my house in Ealing has been blocked to landmarks. Yes, okay. Oh dear. The local traffic neighbourhood or something like that in London. This is one of the worst ideas I've ever seen. Local traffic neighbourhoods, and I know there are some in Ealing, and there's some in Hammersmith and Fulham. They are a terrible idea, absolutely terrible idea. I don't see why they even bother. I really don't. Depeche Mode. What's the benefit of using drum brakes on the rear of cars rather than discs? Normally, it's just cost, to be honest, in a lightweight car. An MG3, of course, as Depeche Mode would know, because he's had a couple of them, and so we have one. It's just down to cost. I don't think the brakes on MG3 are particularly bad. In fact, I think they're pretty good. But it's normally cost why you have drum brakes on the back of a car. Henry Bob Blundell. Good evening, sir. Yes, evening to you. David H. Oh, yes, David H. Of course. Hello, I can't be with you this evening. I'm a secret mission in the North Country. I'm driving a vehicle with red seatbelts. I shall not say anything about it. Would my fellow subscriber like to guess a make and model? Yeah, it's going to be a bit difficult. I know what it is, but I think that's going to be difficult for people. Mr. Howell, I'm going to go out for tea in a minute while you go and enjoy your tea, sir, if you need to. S. Thomason, 306 GTI. Yeah, they have a good chassis. Renault 19, I presume a 16 valve. Volkswagen Corrado. I quite like the VR6 version of those in the G60. The 135i. Yeah, I'm not a massive person who likes BMWs too much. Golf Mark 5 GTR. Yeah, I suppose it's a good car. None of those particularly excite me for some reason. I don't know why. It's just not that excited about any of those personally. Uncle Vernon, new C-Class, used to look like the A-Class rather than a small version of the E-Class. I suppose it's a fair enough thing. Anime, fair enough. Showing saying yes. I've made a video actually about this very subject about why I can't review certain cars. They're just those are the only ways I can get cars, and you know I have a relationship with certain press offices and certain dealerships, but not all of them. You know, a lot of the time it's basically people who offer them to me or people I already know. That's the way I get hold of cars, just the way that it is. Light dive near. What's the most luxurious Lada you've ever driven? Then I haven't never driven a Lada actually. Never driven one. S. Thomason. Drum brakes cheaper, braking are mostly at front. Yeah, most new cars get rear drums. That's right. In the Kia Rio that I sourced for a client in January, that had rear drums, and the brakes actually are pretty good on that, to be honest. So yeah, the Focuses, yes, some Focuses, not all Focuses. I think some of the cheaper Focuses had rear drum brakes. Scottish Car Enthusiast TV, Davey. Yeah, Stone Edinburgh accounts anti-car and using the pandemic drive-through cycle lanes across homeowners and have to make driveways or park. No one else uses them. Yeah, I don't. Maybe it's not something I want to get into much into about cycling, but there we go. So Sean Cook says nothing wrong with cycling on mopeds, but go to the Netherlands. Yeah, I've been to the Netherlands, driven there, and they do it very differently from us actually. But you do have to remember to give way to cyclists, otherwise they'll come and hit the side of your car. So yeah, Scottish views. I couldn't read even more. Yeah, I think that's yeah, popular opinion of this channel. There's local traffic neighbourhoods or low traffic neighbourhoods. I can't remember which one it is. They are terrible. Depeche Mode, just going for a shower. Be back shortly. It's a very quick shower, sir. Because you've already come back. It's very quick, sir. Matty's cars, and the fossil fuel cars not solve global warming, but just chose to come back global warming by electrifying cars. Used option. I'm not going to get into that, sir. I just as we didn't get into it on the last live stream. The thing is that just the way that it is, there's nothing we can do about it. The government have decided to do it, and we have to live with the fact that we've got to not buy any more fossil fuel cars after 2030. We just got to live with that fact, and there's nothing we can do about it. That's all I can say. And there are some nice, very good electric cars out there. Equally, there's some very good fossil fuel cars out there. That's all I can say really. Scottish Car Enthusiast. Depeche Mode. Oh, sorry, I missed a couple here. S. Tomlinson. Talbot Samba is far better than the Metro. I don't think you're going to have me saying Talbot Samba is better than the Metro. I think you're on the wrong channel for that. And much as I would like to try a Talbot Samba, that'd be a kind of a nicely spec one. I have a real spot for the kind of later Austin Metros and the early Rover ones. So there we are. Depeche Mode, Lada 300 SL, Scottish Car Enthusiast TV. Have you ever had any issues with the MG3 radiators failing? My friend recently bought one, issues from day one. New radiator temperatures failed again. Yes, that is a common problem on the very early MG3s. It's not as common as things like what's the big one? The fuel pump, the timing, the timing chains used to have problems with it. That's generally it's often down to poor maintenance on those. But yeah, I have heard of radiators failing. It's not the most common problem, but I have heard about it. Depeche Mode made money on his Lada, very good. Saying as carbon footprint of pretty electric cars. Again, we're not. It's not going to talk about it. It's far too controversial subject. I don't really want to get into that here, really. Andy Armstrong had a Lada Samara years ago, cheap and cheerful. Oh yes, interesting. Apparently Ladas have really, really heavy steering. Mr. G, my 2017 Focus is rear Johnson titanium. It's not to do with the spec of the car. It's to do with the engine size of the car and the engine power. Generally, to do with rear drums. On a Rover 45, the models had 1.4, 1.6 engines had rear drums, and the rest had disc brakes. It didn't matter what trim it was. It's the same thing with the Focuses. JD Rotter, I've looked at cars in an emotional way, not into premium status, fastest engine, and more into character, also luxury. I do like a bit of character, and I do like a bit of luxury. Depeche Mode, pick on me again. I'm not, sir. You know, you understand what we're talking about, don't you? Of course you do. Jonathan Bramble, if you reviewed my Bologna picture last week, you gave me permission to get it out of the garage, not sold it for a year. Went first turn of the key. What an amazing car. Definitely want to drive one of those. Amazing. Mr. Manning, he didn't know what subjects were off limits. Yes, there's certainly we don't talk about on this channel, Mr. Manning. You should know that by now. I don't know, you're a Dacia fan. I have driven a Dacia. I've driven a 2017 Logan MCV Laureate. That was all right actually. The thing is with the Dacia, and again I talk about this in the video, I say why I can't review certain cars. Trying to get hold of one of those is actually quite difficult. Dacia are one of the most difficult brands to get hold of from the press fleet for some reason. I don't understand why, but you know, there we go. Uncle Vernon, don't talk about forbidden fuel. Yes, we don't talk about the forbidden fuel on this channel. There's certain words we don't use. Matty's cars didn't mention the forbidden fuel. Yes, I think Mr. Mann knows about that. S. Thomas, what's the worst special edition? The worst special edition? Gosh, I don't know. I'm trying to think about that one. There was an iDriver Classic video where Steph drove a really weird special edition. I didn't really understand its reason to exist. I've forgotten what it's called though now. I've forgotten what that is. It's probably the one that I would say. It's not a bad car. It's just I didn't really understand why that special edition existed. It'll be on the iDriver Classic channel. Mr. Manning, yes, of course. You know, we don't talk about those on this channel. Of course, we don't talk about those. Sean Cook, power of night in a snowstorm. Nobody's EV will take them to work. Well, it depends if your car's charged already or not. It's just like, you know, if the petrol station's shut and you can't put any fuel in, it's, you know, that's just the way that it goes. No difference there. Mr. Andy Armstrong, if the brakes stop, they're good enough. Yeah, with drum brakes, yes, exactly. Brakes on MG3, absolutely fine. Rev 45, 1.4, 1.6. Yeah, the low pad Ford Ferguses, it's fine, you know. Drum brakes tend to be cheaper and easier to well, not easy to service, but just tend to be cheaper. Just got to try Enthusiast TV. Davey, thanks for answering. Experience with MG Gilo is not great. It depends. Yeah, if you go to Summit Garage or something, then it's fine. I mean, like, they're very good, and I'm not just talking about my experience. I'm talking about a lot of other people's experience. Tritemonger, small luxurious 1991 Peugeot 205 1.0 Auto Gentry or 1991 Renault Clio 1.8 Auto Baccara. Oh my gosh. I'm probably going to say the Clio because I think you could get that as a 5-door. The Gentry was only a 3-door. So the Baccara feels a little bit more like a limousine. Yeah, the Gentry was driven on the Furious Driving channel quite recently. I quite like it. It's really nice. It's even more luxurious than the Roland Garros. I have a memory about a cyclist from my childhood. When I was 5 or 6 years old, I saw how a cyclist slipped the door mirror of my neighbour's brand new black Alfa Romeo and eventually broke it off. Yeah, it's not great. Matty's cars, the new Sandero is nice as an electronic handbrake. We don't like electronic handbrakes on this channel, do we, Mr. Manning? Mr. G, when such things are allowed, you know, last year, Mr. Coleman, we're not just considering it, we're actually actively planning that, sir. So it will happen. Mr. Coleman very much enjoyed the last time in a live stream. S. Tomlinson, trick question. All Metros were great. Yeah, but I'm not so fond of the really poverty spec ones. I differ from Mr. Westby from um, Mr. Westby from Twin Cam in that he's got a base model Metro. I'm not so keen on those. They're not bad. They just got nothing in them, and it's just my sort of personal opinion about that rather than his. And Depeche Mode. If you drive them leading your Sandero, I'll post it try to £5, sir, would not even cover the cost of the fuel to probably get to the review, unfortunately. So it's probably not too much of an incentive, unfortunately. JD on Rotterdam. Did you ever drive a Citroen Renault 16? No, I didn't. A friend of mine at primary school, her parents had one of those actually, but I never went in it. Sean Cook, the ARX Metro, yeah, that was the one that Stefan Classic drove. I just don't really know why that car existed particularly. Depeche Mode, last of the big spenders. Yes, he is desperate for me to actually film one of those. Team Ballylo Classics. I had a 2003 Jaguar S-Type 2.5 Sport, an amazing car. Looking at ours now, and it's incredible the low prices they could be picked up for. They have the same problems as the X-Types. The sills tend to rust really badly on them. That tends to be the worst problem with them. They are very cheap. I think Ian Seabrook did review an S-Type R on his channel before we went into sort of second or third lockdown. I think he reviewed one of those actually. I wouldn't mind doing one, but I just am afraid of chronic rust on sills. That's not my favourite thing to have, and lots of cars can do that, but S-Type unfortunately is one of them. S. Thompson 205 Gentry wasn't built in France. I can't remember where they were built actually. They weren't built in this country or Japan. I don't remember where they were built. They were going to go to Japan, but they didn't in the end. Maybe they don't have the best rust proofing on them. Not sure. Oh, poorly if you there's actually a video, Paul Gautry, on sort of on my channel, which explains why I don't talk about diesels on my channel. I'm not going to go into it now. It's a long and complicated answer. If you just go to the channel and I don't know, search for why don't we talk about diesels, it will explain to you that. I'm not going to talk about that now. Scottish Countries to the yes, yeah, ARX Metro, yes it is. Dan Vitesse, Gresley the Rover 820 is finished, sir. Whilst I was watching, I thought you'd like to know. That's very nice, sir. I'm partial to Rover 800s. I would like to actually drive one of those at some point when we can go out and start filming in other areas as well. Annie Armstrong, just bought a Renault Cadwell electronic handbrake. I love it. I've had really mixed experiences with electronic handbrakes. They tend to work well in electric cars. And manuals are a nightmare. Oh my gosh, I was driving a BMW 5 Series through Battersea with an electronic handbrake and a manual gearbox, and it was absolutely and utterly terrible. It was so difficult to drive through the traffic of Battersea with a manual gearbox and electronic handbrake. Absolute nightmare. Light diode Neil, what's your favourite Metro anecdote? I think the favourite Metro anecdote is when I was younger. One of our childminders had an X-Reg red base model Metro with a houndstooth interior, and my gosh, that thing was old-fashioned and a bit scary to drive around. And this would have been the early 1990s, and never forgotten that houndstooth interior. Immediately when I drove a MGZS Excite in 2019, I recognised the interior. I've never forgotten the houndstooth interior. My grandfather on my mother's side had a couple of Metros as well, both autos, because he liked them. And then my godfather had an MG Metro, quite a late one. It's red seat belts, and he crashed it into a wall. I wasn't actually in the car, unfortunately. His mother was in it, I think. John Edwards, not naturally gifted with deaf feet and welcome electronic handbrakes. Hillhover release also a clutch bite is godsend. It depends what kind of electronic handbrake you've got in the car. The other thing is they're much more difficult to service than a normal handbrake. Mr. Coleman keeps telling me about this. They are much much more difficult to service electronic than a normal handbrake. I just don't. I think they're okay on automatics and electric cars, but manuals, total nightmare. Um, Team Battlefield Classics. I just got rid of my Studio for a number of reasons, but it irritated me that I couldn't service the rear brakes myself as the handbrake needed to be recalibrated. Exactly. That's exactly my point. And Mr. Coleman is now in the chat. Hello, Mr. Coleman, rubbish mechanic. Paulie Gautery, any Vanden Plas spec Austin is interesting. Yes, it is. I love Vanden Plas spec Austins. I absolutely love them. And of course, the Rover Vanden Plas specs as well. Very good. Evening to Mr. Bill from Wells Wheels. Depeche Mode. I've only put in test drives. We've already discussed this, sir. It's probably not going to happen. Even if you offer me a bottle of Bristol Cream. You will know very well that Tree Jacket reviews cost several £100s to film an episode. So, you know, that's another consideration, of course, as well. Evening again to you, Mr. Manning. Jane Rotten, can you get a hand on the Ford Sierra about 1990 for review? I really would like to do a Sierra. I'd love to do one. I've never been offered one though. Again, it will just depend if somebody's got one for me to drive. Shortcut evening boss, you haven't. I don't. Evening boss, you obsessed me with Wolseley's. Oh yes, they're very nice. Team Battle of Classics. Yes, my father had a 2000 S-Type from new. I did need some steel repairs a couple of years ago. I was still off mining at Waxhaw to keep them good. Yeah, there we go. I was right. Thank you, Mr. Coleman, for giving my tip as well. Depeche Mode, yes, we've discussed that. And Sean Cook. Trabelli, Rover 216 Vitesse 89 or Ford Orion 1.2 injection gear. It's going to be the SD3 Rover Vitesse, of course. Like Neil, I love my MG Metro, actually rust-proof in an A series. They've got quite a following. I mean, if you talk Mr. Coleman about that, they used to actually you know, race Metros on the track, and it was a lot of fun apparently. Fergus Ogilvy, MG Garage in Guildford, we're having a look. Pardon me, says Ford Ranger. Ford Ranger is quite a different type of vehicle, really. I have driven a Ford Ranger, and it's they're quite good, but excuse me, the interiors are quite sort of hard plastic and stuff in those. Uncle Vernie, are you planning on interviewing any more car YouTubers? I don't know actually at the moment. It sort of depends really. Mr. Coleman's playing bangers tonight. Light died near spent £3,000 on a Metro engine. Left the fan wire off in first January. £1,000 rebate. Oh no, it's terrible. Furco and Kazor, you're really on the wrong channel because we don't talk about diesels on this channel, I'm afraid. We just don't talk about them. So we're going to have to not answer your question, I'm afraid. Travel easy, Mr. Coleman. The other videos are great. Keep them coming. We're doing a couple more of those. It depends if my mysterious friend had to bring me tapes, of course. Can't fix one. No one can. That's absolutely correct. Mr. Coleman is a genius. Scottish car enthusiast. My great late grandfather had a poverty spec 1.1 C Metro. Yes. Just like that, looks like the one from Twin Cam. He had a radio additive and someone stole the aerial. A bit of plumbing pipe painted black solved the issue. Wonderful. That's what we'd like to hear. Andy Armstrong nearly bought a Allegro Vanden Plas many years ago. The grille was wonderful. Yes, my uncle had a Vanden Plas 1500, which was the Allegro Mark II. It was based on that in brown, of course. Depeche Mode, yes. We don't talk about diesels on this channel, do we? John Edwards, is there much difference between the Sanyong Tivoli ELX or Ultimate, as ELX was once set up a range? Oh my gosh. That's actually a very, very complicated question. The ELX, when the Tivoli was launched up until about 2017, was top of the range one, but they inserted the Ultimate above the ELX in 2018. So if you buy an EX from 2018 onwards, it's de-spec'd. If you look on my channel, there's actually a walk around of a 1.6 ELX petrol from 2019, and of course ours is a 1.6 petrol Ultimate from 2019. And if you want to compare the two, then you're very welcome. But the ELX was de-spec'd in 2018 to make way for the Ultimate. That's the way it happened, and Ultimate was an extra trim added on top, and they pushed the ELX down a bit. That's really the thing we're looking at. Paulie Gavsieri, what's your thoughts on the early Rover Stone with a big trip computer and rear electric seats? Oh, wonderful! Yes, I think I've got a viewer who's got one of those. Actually, he's on the chat. Actually, he loves all those. Mr. Coleman's getting 2 cars ready for a certain meeting in June. Yes, indeed, sir. That's what we like to hear. Jerry and Rotterdam can't leave the series and no budget reviews. I'm Jordan. Most about cars you don't see much anymore. Oh, we have loads. We have loads of cars you don't see anymore planned for no budget reviews, sir. Absolutely loads. Don't worry. Depeche Mode. Yes, I'm always polite about it, but it's pointless asking me any questions about the forbidden fuel because we don't talk about them on this channel. Mr. G buffering. I'm sorry if it's buffering. I'm not sure what's going on. Sean Cook. Boss was Mr. Bill. Oh, excellent. His halo light on the Panda reminded of Wolseley. Yes, there is a nice halo light on Mr. Bill's Panda 100 horsepower. He suggested that SAIC Motor should bring out a Porsche MG badge, Wolseley limited badge. They should, sir. They should make a nice saloon with a beige leather interior, available in dark green with a nice conventional handbrake, and put a Wolseley badge on it. That would be very nice. 7-year warranty as well. Mr. Bill enjoys that. If there's worse brands to obsessed over, one with a light up badge. I see what you mean. Mr. Fergus Ogilvie, out next week. Yes, I am. What would you like to do? I'm not going to tell you. All I can tell you is we're actually filming from Monday, and we're doing 2 cars on the day. Depeche Mode. Yes, I'm actually going to censor your comment because you mentioned the forbidden fuel twice in it, sir. So we can't actually repeat your comment. Yes, we're all having a nice conversation with Mr. Coleman. Best car's handbrake turn from Trabelli, Ford Vauxhall or Rover from the 80s. We'll have to see that. Folks, I'll be shocked. Mr. Bill has a great collection. Yes, we'll see more of Megane. Yes, the Megane is scheduled for no budget reviews, as most of you know. Trabelli, any small Vauxhall has a really good handbrake. Mr. Coleman, yes, the Vauxhall Aguila apparently has an amazing handbrake. Annie Armstrong, why the earphones? I use the earphones because it's much better audio quality if I use them. Team Bundle of Classics. Mini, I've seen auto testing a Mini for years, and yeah, I mean, Russ Swift can do those. Sean Cook, dark blue with beige interior. Yes, dark blue, dark green. Dark green's my favourite though. Bad Books, good evening, sir. Yes, good evening. Good evening to you. Jane in Rotterdam. Are some videos already made? No, unfortunately, I haven't been able to film reviews since December, so I haven't. This is just something I'm telling you what I'm doing. You know, you'll see the videos soon enough. It just Monday's the day that we're going to start doing it again. It's all. I actually all explained in the last episode of. Sorry, I've had too much of this. I can't sort of think now. Yeah, the last very vlog I talk about, you know, what reviews we're sort of doing and when we're doing them and the reasons behind it. Depeche Mode, yes. You're on a second warning now. Otherwise, we'll have to remove you from the channel for mentioning forbidden things too much. Fergus Overvy's happy. Yes, we're all happy about that. Robert Mercado, say hello to Mr. Bill. Yes, you're saying Mr. Bill. Richard Howlett, yes, you're not having any sherry, it's a cup of tea, that's probably sensible. Whilst Wills is saying hello to Mr. Coleman. Trabelli, yes, Rose are quite good. Montego, SD3, Maestro, yes, this year we're having more of those on the channel. Absolutely having more of those. Mr. G, yeah, sherry is strong stuff. It tends to slur my memory a bit. We got Andy Armstrong. We can't be glorifying alcohol consumption on this channel, can we? We can't be glorifying that. I'll get kicked off YouTube for glorifying alcohol consumption. Oh, it's got a kick to it, that stuff. Fergus Ogilvy, the chap at work has got a Tesla. The door handles are very poor. They're not worth the money. I would much rather just go and get an MG5 EV than a Tesla personally. Rather just save my money. You've got a 7-year warranty on an MG. You don't have that on a Tesla. You know, they're nice enough cars, but the user interface on them with this enormous big screen in the middle was just not really my type of thing. Depeche Mode, yes, we have been fair, haven't we, this evening? So we've been very fair. Paulie actually, would I chair a panel of Matt and Furious driving in Ian Seabrook? Yeah, I would. The thing is about Ian Seabrook is he's a very, very, very busy man. Like he's really good at replying to emails and stuff if you offer him a car and things like that. But he's just quite busy, and I don't know if he's really wanting to do too many more live streams. Same as Richard, he's a busy boy. I don't know if they've actually got time if they want to do that. But we have got something else that's going to come up later in the year that I hope will involve those two channels and a lot of others as well. So that all should be fun. John Edwards, Depeche Mode report to Headmaster's office. Yes, for some kind of punishment. Jonathan Bramble, there's a Daihatsu YRV 1.3 turbo. Wow. Ooh. Very good. Ah, Mr. Bill from Wells Wheels. If you could have one brand new car on sale for the rest of your life, what would be your car of choice? Petrol, hydrogen, or EV? Probably for the rest of my life, I'd like to go hydrogen, but they're very, very expensive. They're very, very, very expensive hydrogen cars, and there's only two on the market. You can have a Hyundai Nexo, and you can have a Toyota Mirai, and that's it in this country. I probably have the Hyundai. I prefer the styling of it to the Toyota, but they're a bit limited really, and also there's not really any hydrogen fuel stations near where I live. So yeah, that's a bit of a problem. But in future, hopefully that would change. But that would be my preference, I think. Mr. Coleman, not enough hours in the day, busy, yes. Fergus Ugly, not sure of Primera that Mr. Seabrook has. I quite like it. I don't know if I prefer the facelifted ones or the pre-facelift. Mr. Coleman will prefer, of course, the P11, the pre-facelift. I'd have a P11 post-facelift with a nice high trim level in dark green with a beige leather interior, of course. Depeche Mode has been told by John Edwards what to do. Trabelli, Mr. Coleman, what happened if you put 2-star petrol in Audi RS3 for 2021? Oh gosh. JD and Rotterdam. How do you get the ideas of these secret sketches? There's a whole series on my channel. There's a lot of videos about cars on television and film, and if you watch those, you'll see a lot of the inspiration for the little bits we do at the beginning of True Jacket Reviews at the end of it, and also peculiar old car adverts. You'll see the series that inspire things like that. Richard Howlett, new cars worse than not replacing. That's, I think, a debate for another time, sir. I really am a secret agent. If I told you about that, JD in Rotterdam, I'd have to kill you. Rubbish mechanic. Blow it up and get it ready for us, hopefully. Not a fan of Volkswagen Group products is Mr. Coleman. Not a fan, really. Why have my questions all stopped? That's interesting. Well, maybe it's almost time to end the live stream before the questions have stopped. Trabe, she will start pink and the catalyst will be toast. It'll probably have one of those petrol particulate filters in it as well. Oh, Mr. Coleman, it's just for you. Look at that. Cream sherry. Mr. Coleman also appreciates it. Depeche Mode, you're going to be sent to the headmaster's office if you make more comments like that. I am actually watching the time. Yes, it would be to die for. And Mr. G, why did the live stream get 30 views? It's not the number of people that's on it simultaneously. That's the kind of most important thing. It's the people who actually are watching it in total, which is a lot more than 30. Rover P6. I'm hoping to drive one of it actually. Mr. Richardson's got a couple of them from Furious Driving, and the 2000, which is one of his first cars, he's still got it. And I asked him ages ago if I could review it. And yeah, I'm happy to do so. Mr. Coleman is the headmaster. It's very good. Depeche Mode. Why are we going this awfully? It's a Traveller. It's a very, very, very old, long-standing joke. We have this in joke understanding between ourselves. It's just for the two of us. Most people don't get such treatment. Mr. Armstrong had a great evening. I'm pleased, sir. I'm pleased you had a great evening. Having a good evening too. Probably oiled by this sherry. Yeah, the P6 3500 is great on fuel, but then that car came out before the fuel crisis, so it's not really surprising that it wasn't great. Although they kept it for the ST1. Wells Wheels, he's life is busy. You've just gone back to work first time since December. Well, you've been a busy boy, Mr. Bill. Scottish Crime Venus TV. I want to visit Mr. Cole, the headmaster. I would learn his mechanics as punishment. Mr. Coleman, about to get the Loman race engine running. Mr. G, should we crowdfund the Rush Mechanics Alpha rebuild? Do you know what? There's actually been quite a couple of people who've mentioned that. I think Mr. Coleman is willing to receive donations. Sean Cook, do you think the Daihatsu Hijet 600 real people carrier? I have someone who I used to know who had one of those, and I think it carries 6 people, but 6 people who kind of sort of on a white knuckle ride, really. Paulie Gatcher, would you pick a Skoda Superb Mark II Lauren and Clement over a Passat? Yeah, absolutely, no question. Depeche Mode, yes, we do. We actually get on quite well. It's all just stupid. The arguing that we do on the live streams. Which is how to define character in cars, and can new cars have it? Yes, new cars can have character. Certainly, I'd argue that a lot of the new cars I've had have had it, but it's difficult to sort of define. It's something like an idiosyncrasy and something out of the norm, and sometimes just actually being as conventional as possible can be character if they're all trying too hard. The Seat Later was a wonderful example of a car that had character because it was just totally normal. It was just more normal than anything else, and it wasn't trying to be anything, so that gave it character. It's quite interesting. Fergus Ogilvie, classic viewing planned. Can't wait. How about a Land Crab? Yeah, I'd like to drive a Land Crab. I just haven't been offered one of those. JDN Rotterdam, yes, a secret agent in the fancy beige leather interior Rover. Well, there you go. I've been completely busted. Depeche Mode, can pay me later, sir. Well, apparently I'm supposed to be helping you detail your MG3, so that's probably how I pay you. Fergus Levy, what do you prefer, the Land Crab or the Maxi? I don't really know. Quite possibly the Maxi 2, which was the one they made right at the end. The Land Crab, I prefer the later ones. The favourite Land Crab of all is I think it was called the Wolseley 6, because I had a friend at primary school, and his parents had one of those in beige. So that's my favourite Land Crab of all. I think actually in the Classic Car Club, I'm part of Testimony Motor Enthusiast, they actually do have one of those as well in the club. Depeche Mode, great song. What song that's Trabally? Um, Mr. Coleman is having a conversation with about crowdfunding the Alpha. That's not a bad idea. Uh, Team Battle Classics, Golf A3 Leon, out of the three, Leon or Octavia. Yes, I don't know. Richard Howlett, the Seat was a great car. Yeah, it was. It was a really good car. One of my friends owns that now, and it was superb. The fuel economy and the space in that were great. Although, to be fair, the Sony one's got even more cabin space than the Seat had. Actually, it's got even more space. The boots are a bit smaller though. John Edwards, how do I separate preferences of rear consulting? It's not actually that difficult. It's there are certain sort of things that's just a universal, and that you kind of just sort of get on with. There's certain sort of hard and fast rules I stick to, but if somebody really wants something, then I have to be a bit flexible about it. Scottish Car Enthusiast TV, you a super chat. Yes, just so you know, we are a super chat enabled on this channel now, and Scottish Car Enthusiast TV just gave £5. That'll go towards low budget reviews filming. You got any, David? Do you have any questions for me, or do you just want me to have a sherry? Yes, that'll be good. £5 towards no budget reviews filming. That's superb. You can use that on Monday. Depeche Mode. What's your favourite model of the current MG lineup? I really like the MG8 HS plug-in hybrid and the MG5 EV. I like both of those very much. Picking between them, probably the HS plug-in hybrid. It's got a bit more equipment. People 84. Cream sherry, yes. Mr. Coleman and I will have another cream sherry. John Edwards, I hear a Seat users have more complaints about interior quality compared to Skoda of other Volkswagen Group. The only thing I experienced of the interior quality on the Seat, as opposed to when actually something that sort of broke, was the USB port to the rear armrest fell through within about a year of me owning the car, and that was fixed under warranty. That was a bit of a problem. But I don't think it's any worse than any other VW or Skoda really, because they're all built in the same place. The Seat Toledo and the Skoda Rapid with Spanish, but were all built in the same factory. The Skoda Karoq and the Toyota Taker are built in the same factory. So I don't know why people would say that they're better or worse. They're built by the same people. Ferguson, what's the worst car ever sourced? Oh my gosh, that's a difficult question. It wasn't a bad car per se, but I was asked by a client to get hold of an ex-MOD Vauxhall Corsa with a forbidden fuel engine, and it was like almost a base model. I wasn't that keen on it. It was quite boring, but it wasn't really a bad car, but it was just a bit boring really. But he had a very specific set of requirements, and that suited his needs, and that's what we got. Thierry, actually very odd proportions. Yes, I suppose it did really. That's because they used the doors for the land crab on it. Depeche Mode, favourite Depeche album is Violator. That's interesting. I've not talked about music too much on these live streams actually. Sean Cook, Fergus Ogilvy, when you're inside you can't see it. Depeche, rubbish mechanic. Depeche Mode is French for fast fashion, I believe. Yeah, it is actually, because se dépêcher in French is to hurry, so that would make sense. Traveller, it's a fast, quick as road car. The toss up between the probably the MGHS plug-in hybrid, Mr. Coleman's Alpha 160, that's pretty quick, and the E-Type, that's very quick as well. Vitoritis 44. Hey, thanks for your video on the Rover 416-400. Got to get on the first car. Yes. If you're talking about the HHR Rover 416, that the automatic one that's owned by Jude. Yeah, that's very similar to Rover 45. Trash mode. Yes, we've learned to French language. Right. Okay, everybody. Thank you again particularly to Davey from Scottish Card Videos TV for the super chat. That's really kind of you. We'll definitely sort of be reminding people about that on the next live stream. Which I don't know when that'll be actually. I'm not sure because I'm filming, I think, in a week. Yes, we're learning things about Depeche Mode as well. French Fashion Magazine, it sounded good. It does sound good, actually. It sounds very French. But yes, thank you everybody for your questions. Thank you everybody for being on here tonight. It's always very enjoyable. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you again soon. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. Let's just see this last thing here. My dream budget, no budget reviews cars are Toyota Carina E, Ford Sierra, Mazda 626, Kia Concorde, and a 1983 Mitsubishi Galant, also known as the Sigma or the Lonsdale in Britain. And at that note, I shall leave you all. Good night.